Hello again to another edition of the MC65 FM podcast. Today we are joining by Bernat Agulló. Roselló. All the people think I have fun about my spelling the names wrong. He's a senior BI developer, partner at Esprina, contributor at the Tabular Editor, organizer of the Power BI and Fabric Barcelona user group, and data platform MVP since 2002. Bernard is also known for his deep expertise in DAX, automation through C Sharp, scripting, and his passion for building thriving data communities. So awesome to have you here. So the first thing I see, you speak English, Japanese, Spanish, Catalan, and some German. That's incredible mix. How did the language become such a big part of your life? And has speaking multiple language help you connect differently with the global BI community?
Okay. Okay. So for those who don't know, in the northeastern part of Spain, there is we have Catalonia, and where Catalan is the
Mm.
mother tongue of many people. So for me, that was the case. But of course, Spanish is not optional. So you get from the start Spanish and Catalan there, right? And then, of course, we live in the 21st century. So, well, it was 20th at the time, but anyway, English was still quite the language you have to learn. So that you could count out also like from the start. And then it takes, yeah, from there, it's like, okay, what do you want to do? And of course, you want to travel around a little bit. And we have this Erasmus thing. So I followed a few of my friends who already went to Germany. So like, yeah, well, let's do German. German is tough because I mean French. Yeah, maybe I could get along with French, not too difficult. But let's start with German, which is harder, and also I don't know, like big companies work there and this kind of thing.
Jawohl.
Yeah, so that's what I did, and then I was finishing my Erasmus, and then like yeah, it feels a bit too early to go back home. I mean, I did a year before university in the States. I did Erasmus in Germany, and then I was like, okay, but I don't want to go back now. I want to like one more, and then I'll go back. And then it's how I eventually started browsing around and found like some scholarship to go to Japan. I was like, oh, that's cool. And that's how I ended up living in Japan for 5 years. And yeah, and then I said, okay, maybe that's it. Now it's enough. Now I can go back, and that's what I did. So from 2010, I'm back in Barcelona. Yeah, that's what I did.
Awesome. Have you ever presented technical session in Japanese?
Yeah, it's one of my best decisions ever. I It was during the pandemic. I was like trying. That's when I started like presenting for real, and I said, "Hey, why not try to present in Japanese? I mean, might be tricky." So eventually, I found like some follower on Twitter who was writing in Japanese. So I kind of like started DMing him, and turned out to be a really valuable contact because to join the cat team. So the for the in Microsoft, the ones that go to after the biggest customers, and of course also he knew who runs the community in Japan and so on. So he invited me to present a couple times, just 2 times, but it was enough for some woman to think, hey, we need this guy to help us. And so now one is it's one my main customer is actually her company, and really happy because it's fun to work a little bit in English, Japanese, and also yeah, rates in Spanish are very sad. So I mean, those are very decent rates, and I enjoy the work. So it's not like yeah.
Did you have all this experience around the world? Did you think community building changed depending on the culture or the country?
Oh, good question. But I would say that there is quite a lot of difference because I mean, even just in Barcelona, we are I don't know maybe there's like at least more than 10 data platform MVPs, way
Mm.
more than 10. And in all of Japan, there's like four. And it's like, okay, this
Okay.
something is very different over here. And might be the working culture, might be the culture itself, like because I mean, there's a point in presenting that is like, hey, look what I know that you don't know yet, that kind of thing. And I think there's some cultures in which this is not so sought after. Just want to do the thing and help if somebody's struggling, but not really put themselves on the spotlight. That might have something to do with it. I don't know. I'm really curious. I would love to see more MVPs coming out in Japan, but yeah, trying to find them and collaborate with them because they're really nice people.
Yeah, awesome. How was your start? How in the world of BI and analytics? What
Yeah.
fascinated you at the topic?
To be honest, I started without knowing it because I was just, working with Excel. But it was really BI already because I was in Nissan, so it's like a factory, but and they had so many macros. But all those macros, what they were doing, they were like aggregating different files and producing reports. So this is pretty BI to me. And it was important to understand like what's the granularity of the data, or I don't know, this attribute, where should we store that? So all these kind of things. And so yeah, I thought I only knew macros, but then at some point when I wanted to do this for real, then I kind of like rebranded all these experiences from a BI perspective. It's like, yeah, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. I remember reading the warehouse toolkit from Kimball, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been doing all this time. This is the name this has and all this. So yeah, I kind of like fell into BI this way. And yeah, from there, I started like, doing some SSAS, so a lot of SQL, and eventually doing some Tableau, but very, very little. And then some Power BI. Then very, very little click. I was like, no, 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 no. And eventually going back to Power BI. And yeah, until the pandemic hit. And then it's like, yeah, I want to do this Power BI thing like for real. So I started like looking around, doing courses. And also, yeah, discovering all this MVP thing, which I wasn't really aware of till that point. And it's like, hey, these guys rule. I want to do this. And then started doing like they did. So what do? They present, they answer questions. Like, I can do that. And that's how it all started.
And what point did you realize DAX or data analytics expressions was your thing?
Oh, yeah, I would say pretty right from the start because I worked a lot in Excel. So like all these abstractions and like going row by row and all these sorts of things really made sense. And also I had to start like working as a Power BI support in a large company, and I was like, when I didn't know too much about it, and I was like super afraid that I would be like called out, like, yeah, you don't know anything, kind of. So I was lucky enough to find the book from the SQLBI guys on the definitive guide to the DAX, and I kind of like rushed through it, but it kind of make a lot of sense. My mind is quite abstract, so I love like, hey, this is where the logic lives and all these kind of things. So it really clicked on me, and yeah, and I was into calculation groups even before they were available in Power BI. So when I started publishing some stuff on that, everybody's like, "Ooh, that's interesting! Like, how did you come up with that?" I'm like, "Okay, that is cool." And since the logic is very general in calculation groups, that made a good fit for scripts, tabular editor scripts, because I had written so many macros, and I really wanted to replicate the flexibility, the power I had in Excel, but for Power BI, and it was the closest thing. So I kept going through the struggling with that until I reached the point. I was like, yeah, now I can build whatever I want. So that's more or less when I'm now. Yeah.
I think the Marco Russo and Alberto Ferrari, the guys from SQLBI. So I think that's everyone who has something to do with DAX are yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's someone who is not DAX without them. So good book tip. Um, what did you think? What's the biggest misconceptions people, developer have about DAX?
that is like Excel. I'm quite sorry, but it's not. I mean, DAX is nothing without the model, and that's something that people struggle to understand at first. I struggle at first as well. Like, what's the deal with measures and columns? Isn't it the same thing? And it really took a lot of it. I mean, I had to read and read again. What is it? What's the difference? And now it's like super obvious, but it wasn't for me at first, especially coming from Tableau or other tools where you just aggregate columns on the fly. So for me, yeah, finally understanding that little bit really opened up. And also, yeah, reading the definitive guide is like, yeah, calculate modifies the filter context. It's like, oh my God, that's it. It's quite obvious again, but it made a lot of sense, because the thing is that if you just try to build something in Power BI without learning the basics, you're going to have a very, very hard time. I had a hard time. So yeah, you cannot just make your way just like Googling a couple of things. You should spend some time learning the basics of DAX and modeling, and then you'll be fine. But without it, you're going to struggle. Yeah.
Have you a philosophy when you're writing elegant DAX or good DAX scripts?
Well, I did during the pandemic. I did the optimizing DAX course, the old version. Now they have the new one, which is much more expensive, I think. But in that one, you really start seeing how VeriBack works, and all the and the DAX engine, and so on. So you don't do so many weird things. You think, oh, I want to put an if statement, maybe I should put it over there and not over here, so that with the storage engine can work better. So this helped me write better DAX. And also, I really like formatting stuff properly. So yeah, that's also an important bit to write good DAX. Yeah.
And you also specialized in automations to C# scripts. When did automation become important in your workflow?
Yeah, so as I was saying, I mean, I love macros in Excel, but it really felt very overwhelmed when trying to write anything in that tab in the Tabular Editor tool. Like, it's like a notepad. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? So at some point, I think it was still during the pandemic, I saw like Johnny Winter released a video of explaining how he put together a C# script to generate the dynamic measure calculation group, which was the only good way to really have a dynamic measure back in the day, because you could, put the format string and the value, and of course it was a very mechanic DAX, so you could definitely do that based on the selected measures. And I was like, wait a minute, you can do that to create a calculation group. This is awesome. And then I started like really fighting through that. And I decided I wanted to create the time intelligence calculation group by using the expressions from daxpatterns.com, from the guys from SQLBI, right? They have these beautiful expressions. And I was like, okay, I can put them in a calculation group and put that in a C# script, and then like have it whenever I want. And it was a complex script, and it took a lot of effort, because if you're writing a script in that situation, you need to know a lot about tabular object model, and you need to know a lot about C#. And neither was my strong point. So I had to Google stuff and then go ask Daniel Otiker, and then try again and get a weird error message and keep going around until somehow it worked. And then, I don't know, and then I published in LinkedIn, I got some reactions, always good. And then eventually I realized I could put an image on my blog post, and then in LinkedIn it would look like much nicer. So I posted again, the exact same blog. And then I think Patrick LeBlanc from Guy in the Cube saw it and made a comment. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And, and a few months later, he actually did a video on that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Patrick is also a famous guy. I think he's PM at Microsoft actually.
Oh yeah, he's really good.
You also work with Tabular Editor. For people unfamiliar with Tabular Editor, what problem does it solve? Why Tabular Editor? For what?
Ah, well, I mean, it's a way to work very quickly with tabular models. I mean, if you experience Power BI desktop, once your model is large, but not just in memory, but just in a number of measures and something like this, whenever you want to create a measure, you can only edit that single measure, and it takes like 5 seconds until you can start typing, and then you click enter, and then like, no, I just wanted to change the line, and then you have to wait until it say, hey, you have an error, and then it's like, it's really bad from a developer perspective. It's good because it's like $100, everybody can download that for free and get started. But once you get serious with it, it's not such a great place to work, right? So what Tabular Editor does, you work basically offline. It works with the metadata. So it will pick up all the data, everything about your model is there. All the properties, even properties that not so accessible from Power BI desktop. But even with Tyndall, because in Tyndall view, you see the properties that need to have a value that are not in the default value kind of thing. But you cannot really know everything that you can do with this object. Whereas in Tabular Editor, you have a full UI for all the properties. So easy. So you can just go around there and change anything, and you can script over that as well. Yeah, and there's even more things. I mean, in Tabular Editor 3, you can also do the DAX queries, which you can now do also in desktop. And I don't know, I have like a pivot table there, so you can keep iterating until you see the values you want. But I would say that the DAX editor there is also quite powerful as well. You have many shortcuts, you can edit things, you can, I don't know, edit several measures at the same time. All these are stuff that I use the most. But of course, yeah. But right now, also what happens is that in C# scripts, once you get very serious about C# scripts, Tabular Editor is not the right place to write C# scripts either, because it's not a coding environment, right? Even if it has a macro recorder and it has like decent IntelliSense, it's still a far cry on what you get when coding into VS Code or Visual Studio. So one of my greatest achievements has been to find a way to actually author the scripts over there, where you have all your LLMs around and so on. And then with another macro, call the file in which you actually wrote all these things and get the codes out and put it in the clipboard, so you can just go to Tabular Editor and paste. And in the process, it will combine this with any custom classes that you will have in different tabs in Tabular Editor. And then it will put like them underneath so that you have a single file for your script. And that's super powerful, because then you can have all these elaborate methods that you want to reuse through different scripts. And yeah, and it's no effort now. You can just reuse them all, and it will take care of it and will copy it for you. So I have many sessions explaining that process. And if you're into scripts, you can take me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to explain how to get started.
It's a longer time ago I used Tabular Editor. I love this overview, this model overview.
Oh yeah.
And I found this really helpful, and I love this. Yeah, I don't know what is really called in. You can make these speed tests for your where the model is going slow. I love this also.
Well, you can do, yeah. Well, there's a best practice analyzer thing, maybe you meant, or
It's some options you see where when you load, transform, and so on, where the script goes laggy, or where you use. I found this really cool. I've seen.
Yeah, well, now it integrates with DAX optimizer and even like the vertipack analyzer thing. All these things help if you want to make your model better. Yeah.
When you look a little bit with your experience, what repetitive task do you think every BI team should automate immediately?
When working with Power BI?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now it's one of my main sessions, I would say, is working with DAX UDFs. Yeah, so these DAX user-defined functions are very good because you can centralize now code without buying the full package that the calculation group represents, right? Because that brings extra filter context, and then you don't have the flexibility of having the measure with and without the transformation at the same time. So there is quite a lot of feedback that you need to be aware when working with calculation groups. But DAX UDF by themselves, they bring a lot of work to you because you have to actually create all the measures with putting all the right names and putting the right properties for the format and the display folder and the base table. So they are not that great in that sense because, I mean, with calculation groups, we're used to not creating measures anymore, right? So what I did is a script to create all those measures for you. Yeah, and so that you go to the DAX UDF, and then in the annotations, you kind of describe how all these properties should be. So the name should be like the name of the base parameter and so on, or I don't know. There's some templates that you can like build using some metadata from the parameters themselves. So you can refer to the format of the base measure and stuff like this. So, and then in the object model, you can just right click on any of the DAX UDFs or several of them, and then say, hey, create measures. And then it will scan them and say, okay, what's the value you want to provide for the first parameter? And then you can select one or more measures. And if there's more, it will keep asking for them. And it will just generate them from you. And then once you have them, I also made some other scripts so that once you have all of them, you can then put them in a field parameter with some extra properties so that you can group them or even dynamic measures. And with that, then you can do pretty much anything you want in the report because you have all the functionality you used to have with calculation groups, but without any of the drawbacks. Because at the end, you can also use the measures as they were. So there's no weird things that you need to learn about how calculation groups work. You don't have to be aware of how if you apply on the title and then it will kind of break the visual because you're subtracting the text from text or something like this. You don't need to worry about any of this because it's hardwired inside the measure.
And how much time can automation realistic save enterprise BI teams from your perspective?
Well, hard to say, but I would say, I don't know, 40% at least.
Okay.
I mean, awesome. And it's not just the time itself. I would say it's also the mental health of your developers. I mean, if you have to do boring stuff, you're going to hate your job and you want to quit. It's so easy. If you can use tools that allow you to think about the creative bit of your work, how I'm going to solve this really complex KPI that they want to see, I'll think about this KPI, but I don't want to think on how to do all these time calculations or all this, all this. I want it just to happen because it's something I already worked with once. I don't want to repeat myself. And copying code around and replacing bits of it, that's also very boring and very dangerous. So you don't want to do that either. So that's why scripts are great for time and also for your own sanity. So.
And I also think it's the risk to make, I don't know, when you do same things, then you run sometimes doing errors because I don't know, you are not longer concentrated on doing it. I think that's also helpful, What's the one C# automation you built that made you think, okay, this changed everything, or you're really proud of it?
To be honest, I'm now working on something that is really amazing, but it's not C#. It's actually, it's a notebook and DAX queries combined. Yeah. Because I mean, you know, probably there's this problem that managers that do not develop Power BI, they think it's really easy, but once you get down, it's really complex, which is, hey, KPIs. We have this KPI in this report. I also want it in that other report. And then it's like, yeah, just copy it. It's like, wait a minute. A measure and dependencies in so many other measures and tables and relationships and functions and calculation groups. You just don't copy a measure. You have to copy all the things and realizing just what are the dependencies that the measure has. It's not easy. So I'm working on a solution for that, in which
Awesome.
I'm going to scan all the measures and everything from all the models that are in the tenant, in a way that when you select, hey, I want this measure, it figures out everything that is related to that and generates the Tyndall script for all of it. So you just need to copy that and apply, boom, in the wherever you need that, and it will work. Well, that's my plan.
Then we next month we see your first.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah. And I mean, I'm planning also like it's going to compare them, and then you would have like a master one and a non-master one. And then if the definition has changed, it's going to say, hey, careful here, and generate the script for you.
Yeah.
So, because that's also something that many companies struggle with, but Microsoft is not providing a solution because it's a complex process. It's not just about copying a measure around. You need to look at many other things. So we'll see. It's been a really deep rabbit hole because you realize that there's so many dependencies you didn't think there were. And I also realized that halfway through, say, hey, it's cool that to copy a measure, but maybe I want to copy a table as well, which does not explicitly depend on the measure, but it's something that you can use on the report to slice, right? So how do I do these two things at the same time? Like copy all the tables that I really need for the measure, but others that are convenient for the analysis. And the same with functions. And then there might be field parameters around and all these things. Or you could even have a calculation group inside a measure. You need to be aware of that. And the Tyndall script for that is different. And and you need to, of course, I have to say, I haven't typed a single line of code in that case. So I've been just maxing out my cloud subscription. It's like, hey, can you do this and that? And well, it's been interesting teamwork. It's the most largest project I've done this way, and so far it's very enjoyable.
Yeah. Where do you see semantic model automation heading in the next few years?
Semantic model automation in which sense? Because there's many aspects of it. So thinking what's the best semantic model for your customer, it's going to stay exactly where it is today. So I don't think there's any automation to happen there. It's not like you can pass the minutes of the meeting to an LLM and it will figure out what it needs to do. But once the tables are in place, of course, there's many aspects that can be automated, but maybe not that many, I would say. It's great once you can have everything you need quickly there, like as I was mentioning, like KPIs and so on. If we can just have it there without dealing with all the dependency thing and so on, that would be great. And from there, building the report. I'm not sure about that either. But yeah, I see that these LLMs can now really like nicely align all these visuals for you. I always struggle with that, so I'm very happy that they can do this now. And maybe also deal with the model layouts. I'm also really bad at that. So there's some solutions that can help produce a better result. But at the end of the day, I would say that it's really about understanding your customer. And if it's hard for humans, I would say it's even harder for LLMs because, it's about translating things that are not really there, but you think that it's important, and then you understand what they care about, and then you build a visual in a certain way. And I don't know, I don't foresee any huge advancement in that. I also don't think that people want to ask questions to the data. I think people want somebody to think about a good way to display the data so they can see anything they want in a way that it has enough context to understand what's the value. Because just getting the value of the sales of the third quarter last year, it means really nothing. Nobody can have enough data on their mind to like, oh yeah, it was 35 and not 30. You just want to see the chart if it's going downhill or uphill, it's red or green or whatever. This provides more value. So I don't think reports are going anywhere.
Yeah, I think a lot of people report because they must report. I think that's, but that's not directly the job. of the most, it's the job of the, I don't know, of the leadership, is to ask the right business questions to the data. And I think that's often, yeah, they often the people report. I think every company I work, they are only report because they must report something, and they're not really interested in what's happened. They see, okay, that's good, that's bad, and then, but they never ask why is it good or bad. It's only is good or bad. So I think this is something, especially when we think about AI. This will really help. What's your what do you think about AI, especially in BI?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think not super easy to draw conclusions from a report like easily, because it's always about the semantics of it. We'll see. I mean, I'm still a bit skeptic about this Fabric IQ thing. I really don't understand what the value there, but I do like that the data the agents at least now tell you like how they reach their conclusion. I think this is really good. Say, hey, okay, this is from your question. I decided that this is a good semantic model, and I did this query, and I got this value. That's a good thing. Yeah, and but of course, I mean, maybe I'm the one developing that, so I understand that. I don't know how is that valuable for other people. Hopefully, it is, and we'll have to see really how things work together. I would say that AI is great for doing things that are more or less okay, even if they're not perfect, like drafting an email or something like this. That's okay. But when you really want exact values and you really want the truth, I think it's a very dangerous thing to put in between you and the answer. Is a black box in which you're not guaranteed to get the same result twice. That's something I really don't like about it. So yeah, I was working with building these schedules for like events, data events, with all the sessions and pictures. And I was working so much with like ChatGPT, like, yeah, you should do this now, be careful, and so on. And finally we got it. And like, okay, now give me the instructions to have this in one shot. And then I tried a terrible result. It was like, what? Why? Why is this happening? So anyway, we'll see.
How did you think? I say most companies start with structured data, and now we have this one lake Microsoft Fabric stuff. How have Power BI changed, especially when we look at unstructured data and Fabric or so on?
Well, I would say that unstructured data is like the raw data only, right? So if you want to draw conclusions from there, then you need to put some process and make it a structured data. So you have emails, then you have, okay, that's going to be like one row for email, and then you can draw from there what's the sentiment of it, or I don't know, what's the time of the way, or I don't know, all these sort of things, until you have something that looks like a table. And that's when it starts moving. Because working only with raw data and structured data, I don't think this belongs at least to BI. Maybe those data scientists can do more than I do. But from my experience, still very traditional tables still rule the roost. So, and even just not even forecasting, because sometimes it feels like, yeah, it's all about forecasting and when it's going to happen. Most companies don't even know what is going on now. So there's still so much value in just organizing the data in a way that makes sense, and that people work doing stuff, thinking, right, not just like clicking around. I was today in a meeting, and I don't know, this girl was like doing like 40 steps, manual steps on Excel, not even Power Query. People don't even know what Power Query is. Like, what are you doing? And then like some mental like fixing the data on the fly, like, oh yeah, this is wrong, so I'm going to change it here. Like, all right, I mean, do you really want to do this like this? I mean, it's so much work to do. Besides, I mean, but LLMs and so on might be able to do on the side as well.
You deep dive in the community and in the network. Which upcoming trend in BI is overhyped from your perspective, and what trend is underrated?
Oh, yeah, overhype. I would go with like this talking to your data thing. I I also think that it takes just longer to reach any. I mean, making a good question that is not like too ambiguous to get a a good answer takes too long. Takes too long. Just go to the report and go and check it yourself. It's okay. Yeah. So that would be for me. It's a bit overhype. And it's a new thing, and then it's suddenly like everybody wants to talk to the data, but I really struggle seeing situation when everybody's like just writing long questions to a data agent and getting some answers and then doing something with that answer. I don't see that. And underhype. That's a good one. Yeah, I would have to think on this one, but yeah, I would say that PBIR and all this working with a PVIP format and really letting LLMs do stuff more looking at throughout your model, it's really unlocking many things that were not possible before. So if you're not doing CI/CD, if you're not doing PVIP, yeah, you should really start doing that.
When you have started your BI career this time, or what tips can you give people who will start in Power BI? What
Mhm.
skills should they learn? What can you give them for tips?
Well, it's about doing the thing, right? Because some people just keep working and expect things to get super better for themselves, like just naturally. That's not how things work, most of the time at least. So you really need to read books. You really need to get the certifications. And this is really obvious, but for some people, it's apparently not so obvious. So if you're working professionally in Power BI, you should at least have the 3 certifications, right? The PL 300, 600, 700. Yeah, because now Fabric is also part of the mix. It's also time to realize that Power BI alone will only get you so far. So you need to know some of the other stuff, at least, right? And yeah, read. I mean, if you're starting right now, okay, maybe it's not urgent, but at some point you will have to read the definitive guide to DAX and make some sense out of it. And also with Power Query, read books about it. I put that, I showed that later for like quite a few times, and eventually I started reading books on Power Query because it was like the last thing. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to finally get into terms with Power Query. And it's really nice. I mean, it kind of makes sense once you read a few books on it. It's like, okay, that's a record, that's a list, and all this, and it allows you to do many more things. And now I have quite a big repository of Power Query functions that I use and reuse all over my solution. So also LLMs are really good at Power Query. So yeah, but it's good to know exactly what they do. So yeah, read some books, then use LLMs as well.
We have also from DAX to community, so I like to ask a little bit more about community. You organized the Power BI and Fabric Barcelona user group. What inspired you to build this local community?
Well, to be very honest, I didn't build it from scratch. I just joined an existing community, but
Yeah.
once there, I've been one of the driving forces now, I would say.
Mhm.
But I started looking around because it was like during the pandemic, I saw these MVPs, I saw that there was like user groups around, and like, okay, is there something like this in Barcelona? And I was looking around, and I found like there was something in the community site, but it kind of looked like really old. It was like only a post for a couple of years ago. It's like, okay, but there was a name there. So there was and then I looked for her on LinkedIn and sent a message, and not immediately, but after a few days, I got an answer like, yeah, we have a WhatsApp group because this community site is terrible. So yeah, you should join. So I joined, and there were like around 60 people in there.
Mm.
And I took it very like, yeah, this is the thing. I want this to succeed.
Mm.
So I started also, well, like posting stuff like, hey, this is interesting. There's this video going on, or I'll be presenting at this user group online. And also at some point I decided that also it was worthwhile to start getting people in that group as well. So I would say, hey, can you please add this guy? Can you please add this guy? Or please add this guy? And also looking for some places where we could meet. I mean, I was not an organizer, but I say, hey, maybe I can find a place for them, and then we can have an event. And at some point they say, hey, maybe we should have Bernat as an organizer as well. So they welcomed me to the organizing committee. And they were like, we were 4, I think, at the time. Yeah. And So yeah, that's what we did. After me, we decided also like some events. We were all male dominant. Okay, we should change this. This is terrible. So we found a really energetic girl in the group who really helped us out to book a venue and have a good event. So actually, yeah, I think that's the one. So she was working at Entity Data, and that's when Alberto Ferrari came to Barcelona. So we had a huge event over there, and it was just Marley Sana, and then we called her afterwards, like, hey, want to join us? And then from there, say, hey, we should have like an all women presenting event. And they say, yeah, and you should lead that. And she said, of course I will. And it's going to be the third year now. It's called Women in Fabric. And this year is going to be huge because it happens right after the FabCon in Barcelona. And so they're getting all sorts of sponsorships and speakers because everybody's in the town. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We will have also one before FabCon. So in case you're listening and you're coming to FabCon and you're in the data platform, just ping us and come present something for us or just join for the drinks.
Also, but yeah, I also do conferences and so on, and I see it's more, I don't know, it's in Germany it's especially hard, but for years it was really hard to get before the women in tech movement have started to get females as speakers. So I really understand it. But what did you think make a healthy tech community, or otherwise, what did you track in your Power BI dashboard for the user group?
Yeah, so I mean, we have this WhatsApp group, right? Which is not super common either, but for us it's really like the way, because we communicate like every day and people post questions and we answer there, and it's messy because it's WhatsApp, but it's convenient, right? So that's how we do it. And we're now over 550 people in that WhatsApp group, only for the Barcelona area, right? So we, of course, not everybody lives in Barcelona, but we have this kind of like two condition kind of thing. So you either from the region, so like Catalonia, Barcelona or nearby, or you have been in person to one of our events. So we welcome these people, of course, as well. And if you want to join, that would be the third condition. So from there, it's important to always keep having people entering. You need always to have some fresh people joining because there's always some people like leaving. And so you need to keep a good flow, have activity. For me, it comes naturally, so just I keep posting stuff there and supporting each other. Yeah. I also like to observe. I mean, we try to have like a one event per month in personal, like in presential. And so in this event, we always try to have somebody who's presenting for the first time, at least one woman, and I don't know, and maybe like some more advanced topic, like all this three combined. I mean, it could be the woman doing the advanced topic, but you get the idea, right? So to have some balance so that everybody gets something out of the meeting. And this has been working very well. Of course, not all the events have the same size. Sometimes it's like one track or two tracks or even larger ones. And also something that has helped us a lot is to have this formula of the annual sponsor, which is I would recommend to everybody running a user group to have this formula, because then you put the price on being part of the like official group sponsor, and then you have them on the meetup, and then you can show their logo every event at the beginning. That's the only thing. I mean, just like the slide, hey, thank you for annual sponsors. And this works well for many companies, not super expensive. And once you have enough of them, then if you want to have a small event, you don't have to worry about sponsorship. Like, hey, how are we going to pay for the coffee and so on? No, we have this already. So it's only for the larger ones and the ones that you may have to pay for the venue or something that you might need some extra sponsorships. And then for this, then we offer like kind of like a discount for the annual sponsors in case they want to stand and so on, and like do a 20% discount for them if they want to purchase like a gold sponsorship or something like this. And actually, now we are in the all-time high number of annual sponsors. I think we have like 8 or something like this. So, or 7, I'm not sure now. No, it's good.
What was the role, or what role has community played in your own career growth?
Oh, I would say quite a lot because, I mean, yeah, it's been presenting on Tabular Editor how I was able to join them as a content contributor. So I can now, I work for them like writing blogs once in a while. Once when they, I mean, not that many, but enough for me. I'm happy doing that. And it's also very been good for me. I mean, now as I am a part owner of Sbrina, we often have like, okay, this project is coming, this is great, but I mean, who's gonna do it? Like, we need to hire some new engineers. So for me, being a central person in the community, well, it's also a way for me to identify those that might fit in the role. So I can just like, call them and say, hey, we have this, I want to join, kind of thing. So it's been good. It's very, very good. And also for us as a business, like many people may come to us and say, hey, we have these needs. And I've seen from what you're doing, maybe you could help us. Like, yeah, let's have a look. And but you cannot really think of community in terms of ROI. Like, yeah, what's my ROI?
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, don't do this. If you do this, I mean, you're doing it wrong. I mean, if you do this, you're going to spend a lot of time in the community and so on. So you better enjoy it. And while you are doing something that you enjoy, maybe there's some good things will come out of it. But if you're only after money, then maybe you can do something else.
Awesome. That's really interesting. So, we're a little bit running out of time. So then I say my last question is, what what should people learn from this session today? What advice it's the most important that they take away?
I mean, I would say that with BI, as long as you like it, you can do it. Yeah, because liking or not liking is the only thing that we cannot really choose, right? But once we like it, we can choose to be okay, to go all in and not get burned instantly. Like, I hate this thing. I mean, if you learn how things work, then you also it will make it more enjoyable. And there's a lot to do. I mean, and I would say that once you're reading a few books, not that many, but if you actually read the books and you follow the YouTube channels and so on, before you realize you're already in the top 10%. Yeah. And then do the certificate and you will make it. You will make it, but you really have to do it. I mean, it's not going to happen like this. So you need to read the book. I mean, it requires effort, but it's not there. It's up to you. Do you want to do it? Do it. You want to do it? It's okay. I mean, you don't have to do it if you don't want, but it's all up on your hands.
Yeah, awesome. So the last words from you to the audience.
Yeah, well, join the community. I mean, if you're working on BI, you should at least be in touch with the local community, go to a few events, see if you like it, and you might like it. And otherwise, there's also like larger events, which you can just do. I mean, sometimes local events like, these days, plain always the same thing. Well, then go to a larger one. Go to SQLBI, go to the one in Utrecht or something. Those are amazing places to go just for the experience. So highly, highly recommended.
Yeah. So, Bernat, thank you for joining us. This was an incredible conversation about DAX automation and community. And for everyone listening, you find all the links in the show notes. Make sure you follow Bernat's work on LinkedIn, and for all the Spanish speaking people, take a look at the Power BI and Power BI and Fabric Barcelona community and keep up learning. So thank you for being here. It was a really great session. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.